All right, Mick. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? You are in the building with Malak Arif. Now, today I have two special guests. I'm glad everybody is tuned in. My two guests are two young people that I just ran across. I say maybe the beginning of this fall, and I went on these guys on Zaza's page. I'm gonna just start off with her, and it just blew me away. End up going down the rabbit hole, and end up coming to find out that the young lady's married, got a husband by the name of Choo Choo, and I'm glad that both of them decided to show up. So with no further ado, welcome to the platform, Zaza and Choo Choo. What's going on, guys? Nah, no. The pleasure is all mine. So look, before we get started, how's everything going with you guys, man? I know you guys are out of Chicago, correct? Okay. So what's the weather? What's the vibe like in Chi-Town, man? As two young conservatives. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now you do music, Choo Choo. Now you rap, you sing, what, produce? Okay. Now, I want to start. I want to go back to the beginning because, like I said, I ran across Zaza's content on YouTube, and I'm not gonna lie, Zaza, please don't get offended. But when I first saw it, I thought it was a gimmick because I said, it's no way a young lady is this, has this type of mind frame at this age. It's not realistic. So of course, I do my due diligence and I go down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, wow. Next thing you know, I see you linking up with Tommy Sotomayor, and I want to get into that. I want to find out how that collab happened, and then next thing you know, I find out you're married. I'm like, man, this woman is legit. So before I want to ask both of you guys, I'm gonna start off with you, Zaza. What led to the change? Like, where did it all begin as far as you coming over to this conservative space? I think a lot of people would like to know that.
I'm steady seeing that my toilet seat is being left up, and I'm gaslighting myself, saying maybe they assigned me a girl as a roommate, and she just like she got a dude over here who careless. But I got confirmation that they actually assigned me a male roommate who was he was identifying as a woman, because I see this person coming out of the room at the same time as me, and we see each other face to face, and I'm like, wow, this is a man. This is a man who's going through like the transition or whatever. He got the little buds going on, but it's a dude. Like, he's using the toilet like a dude. So that whole circumstance. The real kicker was when I called, or I got in contact with my housing manager. I emailed her like, why did y'all assign me a biologically male roommate? Is there some type of mix up? What's going on? And she called my phone and told me, oh, we weren't allowed to discriminate against him. He identified it as a woman, so we had to assign him a biological female as a roommate. And that was the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. So I'm like, wait a minute, what? Because I called myself a Democrat. I voted Democrat my first time voting when I turned 18 because my parents told me to. But upon realizing I had been supporting stuff like that, I'm like, nah, I can't be doing that. So yeah, I found myself.
Let me add. Just don't lose your train of thought. Please put a pin in what you're saying.
Okay.
The question that I want to know, and I think a lot of other people would like to know, were you privy to these type of things, like that this type of stuff was going on in the world,
Oh yeah, I was perfectly aware. I mean, the high school I went to, they basically had prepped me to be a Democrat. So, you know, they taught us all about pronouns, stuff like that. I took a class called...
Hold on. Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious.
The high school is grooming the children.
100%. Oh my goodness. We just made a video last night going through like our teachers' social media. And yeah, they are 100% grooming kids.
Both of you guys went to high school together?
No. I went to a public school, which was like moderate indoctrination. It was more so social indoctrination, just being around, you know, the black people and just kind of being groomed to the culture. But hers was like deliberate indoctrination. Hers was like concentration camp level indoctrination.
Like Frankfurt school type of
thing. 100%. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, I took a class called Race, Class, and Gender Studies my senior year. And that's when I became so completely aware about, you know, transgenders and all that stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it was. I had a class called Social Movements and Composition. So I had a whole bunch of communist classes, and I didn't know at the time, but yeah.
In high school.
And in the community college I attended also.
Yeah, when I went to college, I had a couple of woke classes.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing that that a lot of people don't understand. You know, like how the communists work. They don't understand like the subversion, the cultural subversion of Marxism.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they don't understand how these things come into play. And they think these things are purposely done. So it's amazing when all of this was going on. What were your thoughts? Like, were you aware like this is a concerted effort to, you know, infiltrate the schools with this type of ideology? What was going on in your head as a young person? Zaza.
Yeah, no, I thought it was just normal curriculum. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And honestly, I was striving to get straight A's. So, you know, I was taking it all in. I was taking it in. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is right. This is that. I want to be as PC as possible. So I was all for it.
And nobody around you, you know, and I asked this to you too, Choo Choo. Like, you know, because you said it was kind of moderate in the school that you go to. But I'm going to ask you first, Zaza. Like, was there any like pushback from anybody that you went to school with? Like, yo, hold on, what the hell is going on here?
No, none. I'm the first person I know to ever question this stuff.
So the program was like turned all the way up in that school.
Yes,
like,
yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times, you know, when you hear about these things and people think it's just rumors, they think that we're just talking. We're just going off just going off conspiracy theories.
Right. Yeah.
So you know, it's amazing that, you know, you guys being so young and seeing these things. So again, what was the pivotal moment? I want to know what was the pivotal moment that actually make you draw that line and say, you know what, I'm gonna hold the line right here. This side, I'm on this side. Like,
yeah, it was definitely the moment where my housing manager told me that explicitly they weren't able to discriminate against this guy, because I'm like, wow. And the option that they presented to me, what ultimately ended up happening was, she's like, you either can keep the room you're in or you can move to a different room across the hallway, which I ultimately ended up doing, which was smaller. They basically downsized my space. And then I ultimately ended up leaving because I didn't even want to stay in that building by myself because of the trauma that, you know, I experienced, because I was scared to be in there with that person. I didn't know what he was capable of. So,
did y'all ever have like any conversations? Like, was the guy like, hey man, I'm just here to, you know, just to have a roof over my head? Like, was there ever any type of interactions? Or
yeah, I had to talk to him a couple times, because she left this part out. When we found out that he was staying there, she was paying rent there, but she was staying with me most of the time. Like, pretty much the only time she went home was to get clothes. And we both decided, I was like, well, we should just move in your spot, because I was living with my grandma. So we get back to her spot, and first thing we noticed, okay, we got a roommate. She got a roommate. When we went into the bathroom, I had never seen something so disgusting in a bathroom. Like, it looked like he didn't flush the toilet for weeks. There was hair in the toilet, in the sink, and in the tub. It smelled horrible. And she was like, what the hell? So she went in there and cleaned it. She put on gloves. She went and cleaned it up and stuff.
Goodness.
And then literally the next day or two, he went in there and did the same thing. Like, he didn't flush the toilet. He didn't wash his hands. We never heard him shower. So I had to tell him, like, yo, because it's the only thing that was separating us from him was a door in the bathroom. So I knocked on his door and told him, like, yo, you got to clean up after yourself, bro. Like you're not flushing the toilet. You know, you got hair and stuff all in the sink. You know, you gotta clean up. This is hella unsanitary. He was like, oh yeah, bro. His voice sounded like mine. He's like, oh yeah, bro. You know, just let me know if I'm doing anything wrong. You know, my bad. I'm like, all right. I had to tell him like 1 or 2 more times after that because he was just a slob.
Disgusting.
And he identified as a lesbian.
Yeah, he identified as a lesbian.
So he still liked girls.
Okay, so let me. So this is a man that's identifying as a woman that likes women.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Living with women.
And they expect you supposed to treat this person as if this person is a female, a woman.
Yes.
That's what they expected.
Now, so when you went to, I guess, the management, you know, what was that conversation like? You know, like initially, you know.
So I emailed her, and I'm like, you know, was there some type of mistake? I've been assigned a biological male as a roommate. I'm not paying y'all. I'm 21 years old. Something could happen to me. Instead of this is very notable. She did not email me back. She emailed me and said, call me. So I called her. I have no trace of this, but I promise. This lady called my phone and told me, oh yeah, we expected you to call us about this. We didn't want to have any legal issues with him, and we weren't allowed to discriminate against him. So, you know, we just had to go ahead and assign him as your roommate. But if you're feeling uncomfortable, you know, we do have another room that's available down the hallway. And so that was it. That was the conversation. And then it was pretty much like... So they're just
going to violate your rights. They're just going to violate your rights at the expense of upholding this delusion.
Yes.
Yep.
Because that's where we at right now in society with all these different laws that these Democrats are passing, and you know, even some of these Republicans are supporting. So you know, it's pretty disgusting from what I'm seeing. So after that situation, like as her husband, now you guys were married at the, you know,
no, we weren't married at the time.
Okay.
We were just dating.
And as her boyfriend, what were your thoughts, Choo Choo? Like, you know, what type of advice or suggestions would you give to a young woman? Because I'm pretty sure if Zaza went through a situation like that, I'm pretty sure there's other women that are going through situations. I believe that she's not the only one that has been through a situation like this. So what type of advice would you give to someone that had that type of that was involved in that type of a situation?
Well, so some advice that I gave her, and she repeated it back to me, was to always keep that door locked, because at any moment, you know, he could just walk through the door if it's not unlocked. And there were 2 doors too. It was like one in the bathroom, and there was one in like a study area or something in between. Right. But keep that door locked. You know, I guess you essentially can't get too comfortable, because you start loafing, and you know you vulnerable because he is one door away. And you know, you got to handle that with management. Pull the gender card, pull the I'm the woman card. You got to pull all that out the book, because that's what they gonna do, and you gotta get down in the mud with them. Because if they gonna play like pigs, you got to get dirty with them. So what she did, what we ended up doing was like we had never experienced something like that before. So it was like, what are we supposed to do? You know, they kind of just left the keys in front of our door, like, yeah, y'all can move to the room down there. And it was just like, it was weird. So I guess best advice would just be to stay present. Don't loaf, and kind of get away from that situation and see if you can take legal action.
Okay, no doubt. Yeah, you know, because it's like I said, it's very unfortunate that situations like that are happening, and they're trying to sweep these things under the rug. So that's why, you know, when I heard about that, you know, that I said, man, I got to reach out to this young woman, because I want to hear her story, because I feel that more people need to hear things like this, because they're literally trying to, you know, hide the truth under this guise of equality, and under the guise of, you know, what would we call it? Equity.
Equity.
Yeah.
You know, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which I call DI. I call it die.
Yeah, yep. That's exactly what it is.
I switch it up. So I want to fast forward. You know, I want to ask, like, so Choo Choo, you being you know, this being your lady, because I'm you know, I want a lot of men to pay attention to I want them to see how they supposed to handle a situation when they're having a woman going through. Because I feel like, let me say this. I feel the reason why a lot of these issues are taking place, me as a man that's 43 years old, I believe that it's because men are not standing up. They're not fighting for their women.
Yep.
And you look at the WNBA. I mean, you look at sports for an example, and you have a lot of women that are not backing up these women that are in these sports and being taken advantage of with guys entering these sports. But you also, what stands out the most is that men are silent. They're not standing up. They're not saying anything. There's no pushback. So, as a young man, Choo Choo, what was what was the tide that turned, in your life that made you realize, like, hold on, man, I got some got to change, man. How did that even take place?
Well, before this situation happened, this was like the cherry on top. But I had already started my spiritual journey, and I was, my head wasn't in the right place. I wasn't doing the right things, as you would know. Just doing young man stuff, playing around, playing with people's feelings and stuff like that. But I noticed, I realized, that there was something wrong with me. Like, there was something inside of me that just needed to be fixed. And I went to try to, I talked to my stepdad, who, he married my mom. And I asked him, like, how are you so disciplined? How are you so on point? How are you able to be the man of the house? I just was fascinated with that. And he told me, you got to find your faith, get to know God and get to know his son. So I gave Christianity a real shot. Like, I really started to get into it. And that's when this thing happened. And that's when it really caused us to self-reflect and look at ourselves and see, what do we believe in? What do we stand on? Where do we draw the line in the sand? And we draw the line in the sand at calling somebody a woman when it's not a woman, because as Christians, we're not supposed to lie. And as Christians, you're not supposed to be putting on women's clothes. Like, that's an abomination. So, stuff like that, it's always been pretty indifferent. We've always been pretty indifferent. But once it's at your door, it's like you got to do something about it. And you can't be a coward. You got to speak up. The worst they can do is what? Get you fired, get another job. Right. They can't stop your grind. You can't, all this stuff about being scared, it's all excuses. All excuses. Ain't no reason for you to not have your own business. If you work for yourself, can't nobody fire you. It's all excuses.
I love it. And I love that you as a man is speaking like that, because in today's life, you have a lot of men that are making concessions for this type of behavior. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you, you standing on your square, and being a leader, as far as your relationship, because even that sounds, terrible to a lot of women, oh, he got some type of control over her. And, no, Zaza, like, I thought this woman is a very intelligent woman. She can think for herself. But, you being a believer, that there is a certain hierarchy, there's a certain order. So My next question goes to you, Zaza. When did you decide to, take that situation and pivot that into, social media? Because, again, like, I found out about you through social media, just seeing your clips on YouTube. So how did that come about,
Okay, so
I'll be right back.
All right. As far as social media, before I had my my whole thing with the transgender person, I was already like an influencer on social media, but my focus was only on natural hair, Black people, and like specifically Black women and their disdain for their natural hair. And my focus was like helping them support and love what God gave them. And I had a huge following on TikTok. I had like 65,000 followers, and I had thousands of people who would reach out to me and tell me how my content helped them love their hair. And so I had already like had my place and knew that I had a gift for just speaking and conveying certain messages to people. And so when I had the situation happen to me, I pretty much just had like a conflict internally where I was like, should I like publicize this? Should I use my platform and my voice to carry out this message? Or should I just keep it to myself? Because I knew, being Black and coming out as conservative is like a taboo. So I'm like, I was scared to lose my platform. But at the same time, I'm like, I was given a gift of talking, of expressing myself, of influence. So I should use it to spread the truth. And so that's when I decided to take that step.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm glad you did, because, I see a lot of the, of course I see the negative. But I see a lot of positive feedback, when I go to your page and I see you on TikTok and Twitter, so do you do you ever, like some people who take this leap forward into conservatism, has there ever been a time when you've been like, when you got like discouraged or anything like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first came out as conservative, I had so many people at the same time just talking down on me. I've had people say horrific things. Like my father passed away in 2022, and during that time, I was on TikTok and I was very public about it. I literally had so many people throw that in my face and say, "Oh, that you deserve to lose your dad," and stuff like that. And that was definitely some things that the devil tried to use against me, and it almost worked in discouraging me. But I think having my husband at my side, it helped me just be able to laugh off things like that.
Right.
And so, they were never able to discourage me, because every time I feel discouraged and I want to give up, something more positive happens. I'll end up getting monetized, or I'll end up having just some message come through to me that really touches my heart. That just makes me be able to blow it off. And so now I can just laugh at them.
That's wild. That's wild. What fascinates me, I wouldn't say fascinating, but what I find very interesting is that, you're two young conservatives, two young black conservatives. That's something that, and the title of this, the title of this video was actually called, Are Young Blacks Becoming More Conservative? That's, hence is why I have you guys on. So with that being said, you guys are in Chicago. You guys know what's going on around you. What is your thoughts on that? With you guys being out here, in the mix of what's going on, what is the temperature as far as, blacks moving to the Republican Party, getting out of the Democratic Party, becoming more conservative? What's you guys, how do you think it looks?
So honestly, it doesn't look too hot, because as we stated previously, we pretty much feel like we're on an island here. We don't know anybody that we can really talk to about this. Everybody who we know, like my family, for example, they think I'm crazy. I've been told I was brainwashed. So it's not really looking too promising.
Brainwashed by who?
Well, my mom told me my husband brainwashed me when we got married. So
now there's always, like, a lot of times, when you have, two people in a relationship, one, dives head first in, in certain type of philosophy. Like, who was the one who really took that giant leap forward? Was it you, Zaza? Was it you, Choo Choo? Because it doesn't matter, who did it, but I'm just curious.
Well, so it
happened at the same time.
Yeah, it was like intertwined, because we both experienced the transgender stuff, but like we both like played a hand in like shedding our skin color. That was the biggest one. The whole being pro-black stuff. I had put on a video of Dr. Umar versus Jesse Lee Peterson, and I was getting ready to laugh at Jesse. I was pro Umar, all that stuff.
Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah, shout out to him. Man. Yeah, he Christ pilled us.
He Christ pilled us.
I put on a video for of that, and I'm sitting there listening and stuff. I'm sitting there ready to laugh. And she's sitting there like, this isn't funny. She's like, the old guy's making sense. Like, I'm like, what you mean? She's like, play it back. So I played it back, and I'm listening to Jesse saying, like, black people not suffering from slavery or Jim Crow, to suffer from a spiritual problem. They're having problems spiritually. So I was like, wow, I never heard that before. So from that moment on, we was tuned in to what Jesse was saying, and we started to just kind of look into him, and we saw the fallen state, and just like the whole rabbit hole. It was just
it
like
happened all at once. Yeah, it was like we just couldn't stop watching videos.
Stop. We was like ingesting conservative media for like over a year. Like since that moment, since What Is a Woman, we had just been going down the wormhole. So our stories are super intertwined.
You guys are fortunate. You guys are fortunate. I didn't. I know you guys are your early to mid 20s, correct?
Yeah, I'm 24.
I'm 25.
Man, I didn't get hip to this stuff until I was 36. So
yep, that's about right.
You guys are. I tell young people all the time that come into this space. I mean, you guys are blessed that you came into this knowledge, that that you were able to filter through the bullshit. So now you got your YouTube channel, Zaza. As a man, like Choo Choo, what was the as far as the support system? Were you like I don't know if you need, like, baby, I love you, But I don't know if you might want to jump out there talking like that because you know how black people is, or where you just like, hey, baby, I got you.
I just was like,
whatever you doing,
like,
I'm supporting you.
I just was like,
Because the men want to hear this. Like, I'm asking you these questions because the men, they want to hear this.
Yeah, I was just making sure that she was ready. You know, she was going to do what she wanted to do regardless, but whatever she did, I was going to support. But I was really on board with her, you know, pretty much committing social suicide. Because she was already kind of getting, she was already getting slack and getting called coon. And all she was doing was telling women to love their hair. And they hated that. Yeah. So I'm like, this couldn't possibly be any worse. Oh, we were wrong. We were so wrong. I
seen the DMs.
Man, I
seen the text that you, seen.
Dude, they started, the same people that she talked to about like her personal life and like her father passing. Those are the same people that saying, oh, that's why your daddy dead, your daddy rolling in his grave. The same people. Like, in some instances, she got the direct DMs of them saying, oh my God, I love your page. I love this. I love this. And then the next text message is, that's why your daddy dead. Like, it's crazy. And then, you know, it's a lot for her. It is a lot for her. And you know, I'm here for 100%. You know, I'm out there too, but I'm not at the front of it like she is. So I'm definitely her support system because she catching it.
That's beautiful. I love it. Like I said, man, I couldn't wait to do this interview. I'm sorry that we had to reschedule a couple of times, but because this is personal for me because I see, a young woman, a young man, and you guys are just, being very courageous. And I think more people need to step out and voice, and voice their opinions in these matters because until we start, right now as conservatives, we're losing. With like the liberals, they control the narratives, they control the media, they control the language, they control pretty much everything, and a lot of it is, what I noticed, people will, and Zaza, I know you can attest to this. People will support you behind closed doors, but they won't support you openly. Yep. Like they know what you're saying, so. Talk about that a little. Do you ever encounter like what is your experience like when people do see your content and then they actually converse with you, whether on social media or in person? What is that like?
So I have gotten DMs from people saying like, yeah, I agree with your content. I really love your message, but I can't follow you. I'm not gonna share anything that you say because I'm scared to get pushback on it. And I'm like, I understand. Because I was once in that place. I was once in the place where I was a secret conservative, too. I was in the closet with my conservatism. So I'm not mad at you. But I hope you keep listening to my message. And I hope eventually you push past that fear because fear is of Satan.
Yep.
Don't let them scare you.
I love it.
That's exactly what they going to do. And that's really all they got is just scare tactics. They don't have anything that can really affect you. But I do want to point out that, cowards will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. You just won't. So if you walking around scared, you just won't get it. And it's the kingdom of heaven is here and it's now. That's why it's an inheritance. You inherit something. You don't go to heaven. You inherit it so you can have it right here, right now. So fake being a good person to fake your way to heaven is not gonna be it. You gotta really be in it and you gotta catch it here and share it the world. You gotta be in it but not of it. And be with that understanding. Nothing these people say. They're communists. It doesn't. We don't care what you say. You're a communist.
Right.
Satan is your daddy. We do not care.
Yeah.
Man. I couldn't say it better myself. Choo Choo. What also intrigues me about you two guys, man. Why I want you on my platform so bad. Like you got not to stereotype anyone from Chicago, but we know most people know the stereotypes of Chicago, and they have an image of what they think people from Chicago are like. So, I don't know, you got, West Side, South Side, both of you guys from the South Side. So, talk about, like, being conservatives in the South Side of Chicago. We talk about the place that had, if I'm not mistaken, like 40, shootings in one weekend, 12 people murdered, yeah. MLK. Yeah. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because black people do. You know, when they talk about gentrification, they make it seem like it's so bad. I'm like, you guys don't understand that the reason why these individuals are coming into your communities because you let them turn into shit. Like, but I don't want you lose your train of thought. Go ahead, brother. They change. They change your tires. You know. Yeah. That's crazy. Talk about that. Talk about that because I want more people to hear. I love it. I can't say it. I can't say it enough because a lot of times when you hear people talk about the disparities within the black community and they talk about the lack of resources and why black people do not have the same, while allegedly we do not have the same access as other communities. We never talk about we never talk about these things with context. So you just brought up the BLM riots. Zaza, I want you to jump in on this one right here. What was it like when these damn Marxist communists, came into Chicago and caused? I'm gonna let you take over. What was that experience like? Because a lot of people think that BLM they had a good motive, and I think it was a crock of bullshit. But I'll let you speak, Zaza. Right. Mm-hmm. You got. So you telling me you need 4 boxes of shoes? Like that's what you need? Okay. Right. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. TVs. Yeah. Oh, black folks go get some crab legs. They go get them crab legs. Them snow crabs. Unbelievable, man. Yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to see that because the media try to paint this picture as if Black Lives Matter was this type of movement that work in the best interests of black people, and I find it very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that you guys can attest to this, that it seems that with all the killings going on in Chicago and in cities like where I'm from, Washington D.C., Los Angeles, I never see these people around. So why do you only come around when a black person is allegedly killed by a white person or a police officer? So you guys seeing it firsthand. What was it? When you saw this stuff, how were these conversations? I'm gonna go to you, Zaza. What were these conversations like when you're seeing this stuff firsthand and you're in Chicago, you're working, and people are like going, out of their mind, and you're telling them, hey man, like you let them know what's up. Like how did that go, Zaza?
Well, at the time in 2020, I was still on the communist side, so I thought it was justified.
Right.
I mean, oh yeah. I mean,
like
I wasn't stealing stuff because my parents wasn't gonna let me go out there and do that. Yeah, yeah. But I did attend a few BLM rallies. I was out there with the Black Lives Matter sign, talking about George Floyd.
Marxist fist.
Yes, yeah. I was all for it. So I thought the stealing was justified. I'm like, they got insurance. It's okay, Al. Go ahead. Just steal. It's fine. They gonna pay us anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my mindset at the time, unfortunately.
Wow. Okay. So you got hip a little bit later.
Yeah. It was only like last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. When I look when like I said, I ask these questions because I feel like a lot of people, they don't understand like the severity of these things that are going on, right? They don't understand how cultural Marxism work. Now, I know Zaza, you said you did some community college. Like, talk about when you hear the term Marxism, when you hear the term communism, a lot of people you're not even taught this until like undergrad. So when did these concepts, these type of philosophies cross your door? And I'm gonna go with you, Choo Choo, and then I want you to jump in, Zaza. But when did these concepts come? Because again, this stuff it was late. I ain't learned about none of this shit until I was like in my mid-30s.
So it's actually pretty fascinating because it gave me a look at how exactly you get indoctrinated as a young kid. So when I got to college, my freshman year, I had to take a sociology class. Now, sociology 101 was Darwinism, social studies, and Marxism. So as a kid, it's all like theories and stuff. It's all like this utopian idea. And Marx seemed to explain the disconnect between the government or the upper class and the middle class and how the world worked. It seemed to make sense, right? So when I was hearing it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, wow, I was really liking the class. Like, I even was finna change I was going to the whatever it's called to change my major to sociology. Like, I really was liking it that much. And I now that I'm older and I see now, oh, that's why it sounds good to kid, because it gives you this utopian idea, because it explains the world, and it say, with this thinking, this is how we can rebuild this new world, right? With this utopian idea. So it's like anybody that's young and like feeling for anybody else, you're like, hell yeah, like this is it. Yeah. Like it sounds so good, but it only sounds good in theory.
Exactly. Yep. No, that's all right. Go ahead and jump in, Zaza. What was your, when did the, because I hear, I've heard you mention, speak about communism, and I'm like, man, this young woman talking, like she talking, she breaking it down. I'm like, man, this is something that you don't, when you do hear young people speaking about communism or socialism, they're speaking it from people who support this type of nonsense. But like Choo just said, it sounds good in theory. Yep. So when these things are actually played out, we have seen that communism has a 0% success rate.
Yeah.
So go ahead and jump in. What are your thoughts on what I just said?
Similar to him, I took sociology classes. Like I said, in high school, I was taking classes like race, class, and gender studies, where they were going over communism like it was a good thing. So I distinctly remember I wanted Bernie Sanders to be the president. I was for Bernie Sanders. I considered myself a socialist. I thought, I'm like, oh, they finna give us free college. Why not? What's the problem? I don't see what's
I'm walking out.
Yeah, I was trying to feel the burn. I was all for it. So I was definitely a young commie.
That's socialist Bernie.
Yeah, I didn't know any better. I thought all that was a good idea. I was a little slow. But when we watched the film, we watched the movie Uncle Tom. When we watched that movie and he broke, Uncle Tom too specifically, Chad broke down.
Shout out to Chad.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Chad O. Jackson, okay? Because when it finally clicked in our head that BLM, feminism, pretty much everything that I ever supported was all came from
Every
communism.
movement. Every
I was like,
single
oh well, my life has been a lie. My life has been a lie.
Yep.
And we
I
supposed
tell
to be
people that all the
Christians.
time.
And we supposed to be Christians. That don't even make sense. It's not adding up at all.
Nah, we was Christian. We was black Christians.
Yeah.
Black first.
Right, black first, black
What is the
before
difference?
Jesus.
And I think that's what's really killing our people's spirits, because they really think they Christians, but they breaking the first commandment. You know, it's like they really think they there, but you can't tell them nothing. So that's what the arrogance and stuff. That's why they think the whole world revolve around them.
Especially
that's
us.
idolatry.
Because we too young. They don't want to hear what we got to say.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
We don't know what we talking
They
about.
think we brainwashed, but we was literally brainwashed the entire time. Not this the one time we're
Entire
not
time.
brainwashed. You know, and like specifically with the civil rights movement and the party switch, they taught me about the party switch in
Yeah,
school.
me too.
You know, and I remember thinking that, and like so now we so lost in the sauce, we so deep in it that when we hear somebody say something like, "But the party switch," we're like, "Oh, you like level 1." Like you ain't ready for what we got to say. Like, we,
At all.
This is we 101.
where do we even start? You know, it's
Yeah.
crazy. But the indoctrination was so deep, and I remember like we learned about that stuff in like 5th grade or something. I remember I had just got to the big building, and they was teaching us and getting us ready to take the Constitution in 7th grade, so we was getting prepped for it like a year behind. And they taught us about the civil rights movement, and I remember thinking, I hate white people. Like I can't believe they did this to us, and it really radicalized me.
Me too.
Me too.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. But, you know, I want to piggyback on what you just said, Chuchu, because it's very sad that when you look at black culture and you realize when you consume black culture, you're literally shielded from other forms of information. Now, a lot of people say, "What do you mean, Malak? Why are you saying that? You sound like a white supremacist." No, what I mean is when you consume platforms like the Breakfast Club, I'm gonna call them out.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we do over here. I'm
Okay.
gonna call them out. When you consume DJ Vlad, DJ Academics, you know, Breakfast Club, The View, no, I
All
won't
of
say
that.
The View. I'll cut it. Yeah, when
View
basically
too.
when you consume black content on the radio, like they're constantly telling you that you're oppressed, but if you're oppressed, how did you do it?
Yeah.
And when I ask
Exactly.
them,
And that's what
when
Jesse
you
said.
ask these people, they'll go to isolated situations, and these situations that to most people who have a sense of observable reality, they'll see that these situations have been exaggerated. Because, like you said, what we're being taught in school is an exaggeration.
Yeah.
It's not the actual reality of what actually take place. And when you look around you, how many white people mistreated you?
None.
Like, and compare to how many black people mistreated you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I look at like Zaza, you are a case study for this. You know, you are that's why I'm so glad that you're on here, because if the tweets, the DMs, the things that people say to you just for speaking the truth, and you still stand tall. Like, shout out to you, Choo Choo, for just being her support system, and I love it. But it literally debunks every single argument that black people have as far as black people being this utopia, this community of just loving one another. When I just constantly seeing this woman being castigated and hated on for speaking the truth. So you know, just talk about that. Some of it. What was your Zaza? I want to ask you this. What response that you? I mean, give me a couple of responses that you have received from people from speaking the truth. Like, what was some of the worst? Because people need to hear this. I don't listen. I don't want to try to traumatize you and try to bring some of this stuff back.
Oh no!
But I want people to know what the response is from black people that say they love you. You literally told me one moment somebody saying, "Oh, I appreciate you do this and that and whatever," and then the very next day they're telling you, talking about your daddy. So expound on that a little bit,
Oh
Zaza.
Lord, I've had it's like they say the same thing over and over. I done been called coon. Uncle Tom. Oh, they say I'm trying to be like Candace Owens, which I take as a compliment, but they perceive it as an insult. What else? They call me a bad witch. They say my husband is white, even though he's not. They just tell me I hate myself. What else? And
you
what else?
Be accepted by white people.
Right. You're right. You want to be white.
You're
just a bunch of slurs.
You're a white supremacist.
Why would I want to be white?
I don't understand that. I don't understand. Like, how do you want to be white? Because so basically, what I'm starting to realize when it comes to black people, if I don't hate, it's almost like a line has been drawn. I either hate white people, or I'm not black.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty
literally
much what, because
if you call black, you're anti-white.
It's exactly Choo. And it's almost like you are behaving the same way of the people that you say that you despise, that have a disdain for you. So I'm trying to find out what is the difference from what you do than what these so-called white supremacists do. Because when you look at these so-called white supremacists, what black people call white supremacy is just white people disagreeing with them.
Yep. That's
all it is. That's all it is. So Zaza, I was on your live recently, maybe about 3 weeks ago, when I first reached out to you. And Choo, matter of fact, you jumped in on this live as well. You was debating this guy from New York.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah.
And you had a part 2.
Yep.
And I mean, you eviscerated this guy. It was that was very impressive. So Zaza, what make you want to just jump out there and because I noticed, like, hey Choo, this her line. This is what she say: debate me. Like this. Like, do you ever get like burnt out from going against these people? Because you literally like tore this person into shreds. Like, he literally, did not have a leg to stand on. And when Choo came in, it was like he was basically just coming in after the house has been burned down. So what made you want to just jump out there and debate these people, Zaza?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I see you in my comment section, you calling me a coon or a bed wench, I'm gonna tell you to debate me, like, because I know that the truth is on my side. And I know that you have no leg to stand on. I always ask people to debate me, but I get very few people who will actually come and debate me. I've been stood up so many times. I wish I could do more, honestly. I wish I could do more because people talk so much mess. Come debate me. Come debate the facts. And I will embarrass you. I want to make you a clip. I want to make you go viral. That's my goal because I find this fun. The truth is the truth. Like, there's no debating the truth. I know I'm right. So I'm 100% confident in debating a commie. Like, that's fun.
Yeah, that one was funny because the guy, every time he would debunk something that he says, he would go back to saying, but white people do. And I'm thinking, like,
yeah,
dude, why don't you just concede to the fact that you're wrong?
He can't.
Like, it's okay. It's not like, and what I've come to realize when it comes to black people, man, and I know people say, well, why do you, you always say when it comes to black people, I'm just speaking the truth. Black people have a hard time understanding context. It's not because they're stupid. It's not because they're illiterate. It's because they are emotionally tied to these type of narratives.
Yep.
It's literally a part of the black experience. Yep. It's part of the black identity. Whereas if you even disagree with it, you are not black. And I love it that that people like you, Zaza, and even you, Choo. I haven't heard you say this, but you just got to reject the notion of just being black, because what black represents to them is hating white people, being a perpetual victim, doing things in decency, being a Christian, believing in Christ. So, when you guys stand on these, and I'm gonna jump back to you, Choo. I want to ask you this. Now that you've come full circle and you see these things for what they are, what is your how I'm gonna put it like this. What mission do you feel like you have a mission or an obligation to black people after knowing how they treat your wife, knowing the backlash that you have gotten? I don't know too much about the backlash that you have received, but I'm pretty sure you've received some too. So with that being said, like, do you feel like you have an obligation to black people?
Um, I feel like yes and no because like the way I see it is I want to help, I want to point them to the truth, but they will destroy you if they can. So like I don't give them anything about me. It's almost like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Cause right now we doing it. We 2 feet in. We still in the South Side of Chicago. If we really piss somebody off, they could be at our front door. But that's just the risk that we taking. But moving out of the neighborhood and essentially coming back on our own terms, it could be more like I have resources now. I can really provide for you. Like I was even saying like I wanted to make some type of community center or anything like that. I think we just need more conservative based things. So you're not coming in there getting handouts. You're coming in there being taught how to fish instead of getting a fish. Like it's just more so teaching wisdom and understanding rather than giving handouts and reparations. Because right now it's just folks they reject a strong man. They reject anything masculine.
Yep.
Like I'm really confused. Well, not confused, but like I remember playing sports. I played a lot of sports growing up. The coach would get in your ass. Like if you ain't had your daddy, coach was daddy. Like you really like he coached how you crying because you sitting there. You need to toughen up. You need to have thick skin because if coach yelling at you now, you gonna fold. When you get in that field, you gonna get folded, and they gonna be talking about you, and you losing. So you gotta really keep your head on your shoulders, and you really have to stay in the moment, and that's what we missing right now. Everything is just so emotional to where you want to be right, you just want to be emotional and stuff. You have to stay grounded in the present, in the truth.
No, I agree. I agree. Now, Zaza, you being a young woman, when you have these conversations with young women, in your area, does that ever translate to them? You converted them to come on your side. Like, do they ever, are some of them waking up?
Nobody I know personally. I have my mom and I have 3 younger sisters. I'm the oldest sibling. They all think I'm crazy. Well, I have a baby sister, so she's still safe.
No
but
way.
My mom, like I said, she told me my husband brainwashed me, so she don't want to hear it. Every time I come around her, I gotta brace myself to not have to escape because I'm not about to get jumped about politics at all.
She says she don't want to talk politics, but she always brings up politics.
She can't help it. I try my best to preach the truth, but I prefer to just do it online. And then I'll have them. They'll be like, "Oh, well, you'll talk to them online about politics, but not with us because y'all are too hostile. Y'all are too emotional. Y'all try to start a whole argument, a whole fight about an opinion that I have, and I don't have time for it. I really don't. So I don't even come around there without my man at this point because I don't have time.
That's sad. That's sad. And we supposed to be family. We supposed to be black people. We supposed to love each other. And they say that black people are so loving. We're so open to different perspectives and points of views. But what I've come to find out,
based in what?
No, we're only open to perspectives from the left.
Yeah.
We're only open to perspectives that comes from the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear anything. And what I find very interesting, even talking to older black people, I want to know, what do you get out of continue to live a lie and continue to live in perpetual victimhood? Like, what do you get out of that? Like, what do you teach your? Because I'm pretty sure one day you guys want to have children one day, and with the mentality that we have as black people, what are we planning to teach our children? And I'll give the floor to you, Choo Choo.
Yeah, we're planning to teach our children responsibility, accountability, and God and family, and love of country. I everything that's wrong with this country is coming from inside the house. The black family or the black community is the blueprint for how they want America. Ultimately, they want a bunch of fatherlessness. They want weak men, because weak men can't fight. And strong women emasculate men. So they want everybody to pretty much be submissive to the government. And we not raising our kids like that. And the older folks, they pretty much they've been bought and sold. We tell them all the time, to everybody, your blackness is bought and sold by the Democrats. I say you're not black. You're black with the TM, like it's a trademark, because it's not a skin color thing. All of this got to be black from head to toe to spirit.
No doubt.
And we're not going to be teaching that. We're not going to be teaching pro-black. We're not going to be teaching racism. We're gonna be judged
Yeah.
person on the content of their character and treat how you want to be treated. That's it. You don't have to go any further than that.
No doubt. Hey, Zaza, I want to come back to you. You know, like I said, you got, you did the whole community college, and you heard the propaganda that was pushed in school and high school. What is your thoughts on the whole CRT? Because that's pretty big right now. That hasn't went away. Critical race theory. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, as someone who I think I was taught a lot of CRT based curriculum, that was a waste of time and a waste of resources. I could have been learning better things, and that's a huge reason why a lot of schools in this city are lacking in reading and math, because they too busy teaching theories that have nothing to do with real life.
Talk about it.
So that's another thing. We gonna be homeschooling our kids for a certain duration of time, because I'm very privy to the fact that they're playing in these schools, and they're not trying to teach you actual curriculum that's gonna help you in real life, teach you how to critically think. It's gonna teach you how to divide based on race, and that's asinine to me. So I'm not for it.
No, I love it. Hey, Choo Choo, I want you to to jump on that question, but I wanna throw this in as well. Like when you see a lot of people talking about how racist Ron DeSantis, and they look at Florida, and they try to break down or analyze critical race theory. Why do you think black people gravitate to that type of rhetoric? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, because there's incentive in being a victim, because this whole society is based around helping the little guy, and if you can be the little guy, you can get handouts, and it's basically extortion at this point, because why would you go get a real job and make over a certain amount where you could just get EBT and you can get welfare, you can get Section 8? Why would you want to strive and do better when you have this safety net that's so high to where you can actually have a comfortable life and do nothing? Like, why would you want to achieve? Why would you want to be great? But then if that's the case, why do you hate the people that's actually wanting better for their life and actually going out and getting it?
Right.
You can't have it both ways.
Yep.
Exactly. No. I want to get to people in the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask any questions. Paul, he has a question. He asked also DEI. What's your thoughts on that? I'm gonna start with you, Zaza.
DEI.
So again, real quick, Zaza. Feel free, everyone. I'm gonna say it again. If you guys have any questions, we will be answering questions. So feel free. But go ahead, Zaza. The floor is yours.
Yeah. As we stated earlier, DEI equals DIE. Shouldn't be a thing. People should be getting hired and get positions based on merit and merit only. Honestly, if you're black and you're advocating for DEI, you want to be treated like you're special needs. And I for one don't like that. Like I don't want anybody to think that I've got something based on my skin color ever. I don't even want that to be a question. So the fact that that's a thing that people are just okay with receiving, it's like, well, don't get mad when people say that, hey, that might be a DEI. Because I'm seeing now that it's a rhetoric on Twitter where people are equating DEI with a slur, and I'm like, well, what do y'all expect?
Shout out to Charlie Kirk. I had to say.
Yeah, shout out to Charlie
Kirk.
Because he said what needed to be said.
Right.
And anybody who wants to act like they're so victimized by that term, go out and protest against the practice. But y'all aren't going to do that because y'all actually want it to be a thing. So can't have it both ways.
Right.
It's almost an insult when I look at it. I was having a conversation with my wife a while back, and we was talking about schools. And she's probably here on the chat. And I told her there's no such thing as white schools.
Right.
And we baby, before you even jump out and say something crazy, say something. But I'm going to say this. Like I told her, and this is not a conversation. Let me just remove this from her. I ain't trying to get in trouble with her. But can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, what I was saying was, a lot of times, people say there's white schools. And I tell them, there's no such thing as white schools. There are areas that may have predominantly white people because if you look at the United States is a predominantly white country.
Exactly.
Black people, if you truly believe in DEI, well, the NBA should be represented by 13%. The NFL, I should only see 13% of black people in the NFL, in the NBA, in hip hop. So if you truly believe in these things, I would like to see this type of diversity, equity, inclusion all across the board, because when you look at these schools, a white school is a school that says no black people are allowed.
Right.
Where in the United States is there a school that says Negroes are not allowed? And this is not just, this is to anybody who, what is your thoughts on that?
It's a lie. They say white schools or they say white gangs, like in that exact clip that you was talking about with Zaza and that dude from New York. He said that it's more white gangs than black gangs. I said that's a lie. And he's like, oh, it is. And I'm like, okay, name one, and he left. Like you want to say white only, or you want to say these white schools or these white jobs or whatever,
right.
But it's not that. It's predominantly white because there's predominantly more white people here. If you want to see more black faces, go to Africa, go to Haiti. You become lunch. That's a black face. So like, I don't see the whole point of saying white and black. It's just predominantly black, predominantly white. There's no absolutes. Nobody should be speaking in absolutes, but they like to play this absolute game to try to straw man you. That's why we say not all, like Jesse, not all, but most. Because they like
you gotta make It's almost like you always have to make disclaimers when you speak to black people.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they what I understand, what I'm starting to realize again, if something is not absolute to black people, then you're wrong. Like
exactly.
they need to see that there's like this situation has to be perfected. There has to be no signs of injustice. In the event that there is even a sign of injustice, we're going to assign that injustice to every white person.
Yeah.
Now, you'll ignore the black people that are getting killed left and right in Chicago, the black people getting killed left and right in Washington, D.C., the black people getting killed left and right in Los Angeles, but you'll focus on this white person, this black person that was killed by a police officer, which, more times than not is justified.
Yeah, it is. And that's been one of the things we like to do is go back and look at those videos of so-called police brutality. And we're like, oh, yeah, there's the problem right there. He's resisting. Oh, there's the problem right there. He's reaching for the gun. It's like, what? How couldn't we see this before? Well, what happened is that we never actually saw it. We just heard people talking about it and just kind of hopped on the bandwagon. So when you do see it, you see the 2-second clip of the police shooting him and not the part that's leading up to it.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened. Like with the Michael Brown stuff, that man was trying to grab his gun. Like we've seen videos of police fighting with people and they actually get the gun and try to shoot the police. Like there was a police chase. This girl was chasing this dude and he had a AK-47 in his pants. She was chasing him. He turned around and shot her in the head. Thank God she lived, but like this is what these folks are dealing with. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, and you know what? I want to jump back to you, Zaza. Since they call you you want to be like Candace Owens. Have you ever got a chance to meet Candace Owens?
No, I haven't had a chance.
See her. She reposted something of you before, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah. I thought you saw that.
No, I didn't see it. I have been reposted by Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, but Candace? Look, I would love.
Something of you. I thought you saw that.
Hey, that's hard.
No, I did not. Oh man.
What is to the black people who are not too privy to Candace Owens, and whether you like it or not, Candace Owens is a she is one of the faces of the conservative movement, black, white, whatever. So what is your thoughts on Candace Owens and what she is currently going through in regarding to the Daily Wire? I'm pretty sure that people want to know what's your thoughts on that, Zaza.
I mean, I stand with Candace Owens. Like, me and him sat and watched the entire stream of her talking to the rabbi. She ate him alive. I want to be just like her. I really support what she got going on. Christ is king. So the fact that the Daily Wire went ahead and fired, we watched it happen in real time. We saw what the ADL has said about her. We also watched the stream with Nick Fuentes. We saw everything. So for them to say that, she was supported by a white supremacist, and then turn around and get fired by the Daily Wire, it's insane. It's really insane to see in real time that they are actually proven to be against Christ. Like, can't support that.
Yep. This
can't
stuff
is
it. Literally anti-Christ.
It's the definition of it. So yeah, I stand with Candace 100%.
Did you guys see the interview that she did with the rabbi. Did you guys get a chance to
Yeah,
check that out?
yeah. We watched the
watched the
full.
whole
We
thing.
watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and
And
she snapped.
She
That
snapped.
man didn't have a leg to stand on. And what
Yeah.
killed me was the definition of anti-Semitism. You know, if it's like, it reminded me a lot of black people and how they like, oh, racism, and okay, what about racism? Oh, well, in Jim Crow, like, no, bro, no, like, why would, if I ask you a definition of something, you say 2,000 years ago? I'm not trying to hear that, bro. I'm not trying to hear that. You're lying to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, somebody wanted some shine. I'm gonna get him some shine. Somebody said, David said, your favorite white oppressor tuning in to support one.
What's up, Dave? What's up, Dave? It's Mr. Dave. Yeah, I had a live with him too. I had a live with him, and him, and this black supremacist, this old black supremacist guy. He was so racist.
Shout
and
out to
Mr.
you,
Dave,
Dave.
he sat there and chewed him alive.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Dave. Shout out to Angel Wings. Shout out to Paul. Shout out to Kimoko. Shout out to
Hey,
Antoine. Everybody for shout out to Hannah. So look, I want to fast forward. So again, you mentioned, when you look at Candace Owens, people compare you to. I'm not gonna lie, I even compare you to her. You do remind me of a younger version of Candace Owens. So what's your plans as far as because you got a platform now, and I believe that you are a great example for young women. Notice I did not say young black women, young women in general.
Period.
Young women in general, and I love it. So what's the next step for you, Zaza, as far as using your platform? And I'm not gonna speak for you. I'm gonna give the floor to you. What's the next step for you as far as this your platform?
I'm currently monetized on Twitter, so it's basically my job. I'm a real influencer now. I want to keep making videos about current events, keep talking about the culture, keep up with my YouTube channel. I just want to keep doing the influencer thing. I do eventually plan to become a mom, so that's going to be my next priority. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying the influencer thing. I'm just trying to see where this takes me.
Right. Nah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. A lot of times, and I'm pretty sure, Choo Choo, you can see this. A lot of people get into these, they get these platforms, and then they allow their audience to dictate, how they move. Now, Zaza, how do you plan on navigating, throughout that? Because there's going to be times where people want you to think one way. How do you plan on continuing to be who you are, and also, having some type of upward mobility?
I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing. Keep with the truth, stay consistent with the truth. The truth doesn't change, so as long as I know the truth, there's no reason for me to get swayed by anybody's opinions or what they want. So if they don't like what I gotta say, they can leave. I really don't care. I've lost so many followers, and I know nothing is permanent. So if they no longer want to support me for whatever views that I have, that's fine. It is what it is. I'm not gonna cry or lose any sleep. So I'm just gonna keep with the truth.
Yep.
This is beautiful. I love it. I gotta ask. I'm gonna start with you, Choo Choo, and I'm gonna go back to you, Zaza. But I want to ask this, because I'm pretty sure there's another question I believe people want to know. Do you guys feel like the backlash that you guys get, that brings you guys closer?
Yeah, it's at this point it's a completely unique experience. We're getting crucified in the name of Christ. So that's something that can't nobody take away from us, and we can't really relate to nobody else like this because everybody around us agrees with everybody.
Yeah.
There may be a little bit of difference in opinions about stuff here and there, but your beliefs and your foundations are completely different. Just saying that, oh well, white people ain't as bad as y'all say will get you yelled at.
Yeah.
So isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. Why are you defending white people?
Yes.
Whoa,
yeah.
Whoa, why are you attacking white people? Well, because they did. No. So yeah, it's definitely bringing us closer together. It's the one thing that we can bond over. It's something that you can't take away from us. This experience has been our stories are literally intertwined. We two parts moving towards the same direction, and we like a well-oiled machine at this point.
Yeah. Same here. We intertwine with a story. We can laugh at our comments together. I'll show him a DM I got. Like, look at this. We laugh at it for the rest of the day. It's an inside joke. We really in our own little bubble. And another thing is, I think this whole situation is like what kind of led us to getting married.
Yeah.
Because we were, like we said, we were dating when we first started the experience, but upon realizing that, hey, we are Christians, we trying to live by Christian values, it was like, okay, well, we cohabitating, we shacking up, we ain't supposed to be doing that. So what's the next step with that? Like, oh, we ain't too young to get married. I mean, what we waiting on? We ain't gonna have no elaborate wedding or nothing. Let's get married. Like, let's go do it. And we did it. Like,
Right to the
so
courthouse. It had a perfect day.
yeah, we had a great
Perfect day.
time. So
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to piggyback on that. I want to piggyback on that a little bit. Like, as two young people and young conservatives who's watching this, who's going to watch this, as young conservatives, do you feel like the dating pool just shrinks? When you're like, because a lot of people say, this is the problem that I have, and I'm gonna give the floor to you guys, I swear. But you hear these idiots like Dr. Umar, and you hear the Tariq Nasheeds, and you hear the Charlemagne the Gods, and all these, the Roland Martins, and they all want you to unify with one another. But how do you unify with somebody that is hostile to your worldview? So, Zaza, I want to go back to you. Do you feel like when you looked around, do you feel like the dating pool, it just shrinks when you're a conservative, or I'm just, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just,
Oh, yeah. I know for a fact that I probably, if I would have came out as conservative and I wasn't with him, I probably would have ended up with a non-black guy, because at least not in this city. I would have had if I would have ended up finding another black man, it would have been, the odds of that, I think, are extremely small. I think I would have ultimately ended up with a white man, and they would have been justified in their bedwetch allegations. So me being married to a black man and we both collectively became conservatives at the same time together, that's just like the most rare combination.
Yeah.
That cannot be taken away from us. So God really blessed me with that.
Yeah.
Nothing. I think there's anything wrong with having a non-black spouse, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
I was just about to, and listen, Zaza, I know you didn't mean anything by that. I know you didn't mean anything, because I just wanted to say, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, it's
but
just the chance to finding a base black person is very, very, very slim. We vote 97% Democrats, so you're looking for a 3%, really a 1.5%, because half of that is men. More than half of that is men. So, like, no way. Ain't no way.
It wasn't gonna happen.
Ain't no way. Especially not one around our age.
Yeah,
You
right.
blessed. You blessed.
Yeah, for sure. I say it every day. I definitely am. God bless me, cause.
Did you pray, Zaza? Did you pray for this?
I did. I didn't even know what I was praying for, but now I know. I thank God every single day for what I have, because I know that it's special.
Nah, that's beautiful. What about you, Choo Choo? Like, did you pray? Did you get on your knees and like? Because a lot of people do not understand. Like, and I'm just messing with you, Choo Choo, and you, Zaza. A lot of people do not understand, like, how serious it is in the dating market when you are black and you're trying to date someone that share your values and your morals, but you happen to be a conservative. So a lot of people do not understand that. Like, they think that it's you can just go ahead and just link with somebody or marry somebody because they black, like Charlemagne the God, or Dr. Umar, these guys. And I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense, Right. So what is your thoughts, Zaza, as far as dating people based on skin color opposed to dating people based on morals and values? I'll get the floor to you, Zaza.
Yeah, I think a lot of black women are doing themselves a disservice when they outing date based on race. Like, for example, my mom, right? My father, like I said, passed away 2 years ago. And so she's a widow.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. She's a widow, and she's openly told me to this day that she will never date outside of her race. So I'm like, Mommy, you're literally limiting your dating options. Why? Why are you doing that? What's your point? Like, I don't understand what his justification is for not wanting to date outside of your race, because that's just you being explicitly racist. What if he's a great Christian man? What if he's wealthy? He's good with my little sisters. Like, you have everything else going for him, but you wouldn't date him or consider marrying him because of his skin color? And you mean to tell me that's not racist? That it makes no sense. I don't understand.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I want to ask both of you this question, because I look at your debates. I love going on your page, Zaza. It gives me a good laugh, every now and then to see you get into these debates with these I'll just say individuals.
Yeah.
And I saw you debating this young woman, and she was trying to tell you that black people cannot be racist. So with that being said, I'm not going to say her name or put her IG handle out there. What is your thoughts in regarding to that, Zaza?
I mean,
can black people be racist?
Once upon a time, I did believe that as a black person, I was unable to be racist. That was another thing that I learned in my schooling. I was taught that I lacked the systemic power as a black person. So, I thought it was okay to call white people slurs and this and that. But, now that I realize that black people are the most explicitly racist to me, they will explicitly call me slurs based on my skin color like a Uncle Tom or a sellout. I'm led to believe that black people are not only able to be racist, they are the most comfortable in being racist.
Yep.
Say that last part. Say that last part. I don't think people heard you. The last part, please.
Not only are black people able to be racist, they are the most comfortable in being racist.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They'll say that you don't know what you're talking about. But if they go to your DMs and they look at your text messages, I'm curious to what their response would be, because I love that you post that stuff. I love that I don't think that some people say, oh, you're no, I love that you post that, because people need to see that, because what is taking place is black people being forced or black people being forced to commit to one side. If you look at mainstream media, Zaza, Choo Choo, where are black people, black conservatives represented? Where are we? What mainstream platform that parades black conservatives? And I'm gonna ask that question. Is it something that I'm not seeing? Choo Choo, what do you see when you look at the when you see these different platforms? How often are black conservatives represented? In your eyes,
they're not represented, and the 1% time that they are represented, they getting clowned. They like Larry Elder. We was watching somebody interview Larry Elder, and they hung up on them. In mid, they asked him a question, and he was like, "I reject the premise of the question because first off, your premise is false," and so he wasn't going to answer the question.
I hate when they do that.
Man, it's so clowned out, and they hung up on him. They like they was our age. I'm like, wow, the disrespect, just disrespectful. Larry Elder go on the Breakfast Club and get disrespected. Candace going there. I mean, they wasn't gonna play with Candace though, but most of the times when they go up, they just getting disrespected the whole time. It's just condescending, sarcasm, and all that. It's just it's just performative.
Do you feel like, Zaza? I'm pretty sure you guys both work, whatever. Like in your personal lives, do you feel like you have to conceal your beliefs, your perspectives? Like you have to, somehow suppress that, because a lot of conservatives, they want to know that. Like, how do you navigate? Like, are you open with your beliefs, or do you initiate conversations, or how do you handle all of that, like in your personal life? I'm gonna start with you, Zaza.
Yeah. So, like I said, I like to not go anywhere without him because I like to be braced. But now that I can see through these people so easily, I can almost see into the future. I know that you're about to bring up something political, so I can either choose to engage with you or not, depending on who you are, your demeanor, and where I am. Like, for example, I was getting my hair done, and the women in the salon were in there talking about abortion, casually. And I'm like, I'm not going to touch that today. I don't even feel like having no debate because I got to sit here and get my hair done by this girl. Do I feel like being interrogated for several hours about my perspective? No. But, I mean, if you ask me a direct question, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That's my outlook on it. But I'm not going to go looking for issues.
Battles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Literally pick and choose your battles. For me, I'm not really concealing anything. Like, the same thing, just pick your battles. But it's like, every day somebody this white people, like literally today there was this instance of this black lady she was in a wheelchair. She was talking to this white lady was super cool with her. This white dude walked past. Now he was rude. He walked past and she asked him like, you can go to the self-checkout aisle, because he was looking for a checkout spot, and she was like, yeah, you can go to the self-checkout. He was like, oh, I didn't ask for that. She was like, you don't want to go to self-checkout? I didn't ask for that. Now he was being rude. Her response was, "This is why I don't help y'all white people. I'm just like, there's the racism. There it is. There it is. He's the asshole, but now she's racist.
Could the white dude just be an asshole?
Right.
Like
He
this
was
the
just
problem
an
that I have.
asshole.
Exactly. This is the problem that I have with a lot of black people. Like, so a white person does something that you don't like, he's a racist.
Exactly.
Black people mistreat you and do things that you don't like 24/7. So what are they? Because it seems like there's no in between. Either a white person affirms everything about you, or he's racist. And I find that very disingenuous, and it's going to be really, I'm at the point where I call it all. I just believe it's all cap. You got to until a white person calls a black person nigger to their face or whatever, it's cap. I don't believe it. That's where I'm at. And even then, let me say this, everyone who's hear me clearly. Even then, if your black person does something that you don't like, if a black person does something to a white person and a white person, I feel they have every right to call you whatever they want to call you. If they want to call you a nigger, I have no problem with that. Guess what? Because black people will talk about your daddy. They'll talk about your dead mama. They'll talk about your kids. They'll say anything to get under your skin to rile you up. So I would look at that as a white person doing the same thing. They know that gets under your skin, and I would not even deem that white person racist.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Oh,
I'm for freedom of speech. I'm for freedom of speech.
No, I don't think these white people are really racist. They making like even when they call you a nigger, they only saying it to get a reaction out of you. Like, it's like I've been called a nigger a couple times, and each time it's just like, really, like it's like really we doing that now. But I don't see why people just get so mad. Like I work in the industry, the nightclub industry, and I've been called a nigger. But I just was like, whatever. My cousin got called a nigga. He turned around and shoved the guy. He almost busted his head. You could have went to jail for that. So it's like you let him provoke. You did exactly what he wanted you to do. Exactly. And you are a nigger. If they call you a nigger, you act like a nigger. Right. You're a nigger. Like it is what it is. It ain't our fault. It's your fault.
No, I totally agree, Choo Choo. It's almost like they don't understand, like, you're giving a word so much power.
Exactly.
I literally talked to a brother that told me, I asked him, if a white person called you a nigger, what would you do? No, he asked me, and I told him, I said, I'll laugh at him and just walk away. Like, it doesn't have any power. Right. He told me, he said, oh, man, you acting like a coon. You gonna let it. I said, it's a word. It's a word. It's a word like, no different than any other hate word or any word to rile somebody up. I'm not going to throw away everything that I work hard for over a word. Now, if he put his hands on me, that's a whole different story.
Right.
But just a word, so the fact that black people give this word so much power, it's to me, and I want to, what's your thoughts, Zaza? Like, it shows that there is a disconnect when it comes to logic and reality. So what's your thoughts, Zaza? Because you receive a lot. People call you all types of what's, and I don't want to even go into the the details. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, I made a tweet last night in response to the whole DEI. People saying the DEI is like saying the N-word. I'm like, if you're allowing the term DEI to make you so mad and to emotionally rile you up, you need to stop allowing other people's words to control you. And people are mad at that response. I'm like, well, y'all proving my point. Y'all are so emotionally invested in words that y'all allow them to control you. That's very feminine behavior. Y'all acting like women.
Especially by men.
Right, you're a grown man. You mad at somebody for using a word? You gonna let somebody using a word against you lead you to go to jail for battery? Are you serious? Like, are you willing to throw away your life like that? You got kids and everything. You acting like that? I don't respect you.
I love it. No, that's great. And this is strong. Y'all talk about the strong black woman. This is the strong black woman, a woman that can actually stand up with some truth, with some logic. Not that black girl magic and all that nonsense. And that black boy joy, all that type of leftist garbage. Because that's the type of stuff that they're pushing on our women. So with that being said, I want to move over to another topic. What is your thoughts on modern day feminism? What we would call feminism. I believe this will be third wave feminism. So, what is your whole thoughts on the feminist movement of today? What's your thoughts, Zaza?
Feminism is evil. It's demonic. I mean, in the Bible, it explicitly said the curse of Eve would be that she wants to rule over men, and that's what feminism is. So every woman that claims to be a feminist, I used to claim myself as a feminist, but I really wasn't. Because I wanted to be with a guy. I wanted to get married. I was willing to be submissive, but I would be quiet about it. And I would promote other women to be feminists. That's demonic. It's demonic. It's simply demonic. Like, if you're a woman out here claiming that you don't need a man, you're lying. Like, there was a Facebook post last night that we saw where a woman was saying, my son don't need no daddy. That's demonic. Like, you're explicitly saying that you're going to keep your son away from his father because of your own selfish ego. That's ridiculous.
Pathetic.
So I don't support any of it. I don't support it, and I'm glad that I dropped it. I would never claim myself to be a feminist again. I'm happy to submit to my man, and it is what it is. Anybody who's claiming to be a feminist in this year is looking for trouble. You're not gonna get married. It's
talk
not gonna
about
happen.
it. Talk about it. Talk about it. So look, I wanna go back to that, but before I forget. Like I said earlier in the interview, I noticed. I remember you linking up with Tommy Sotomayor. Shout out to Tommy Sotomayor.
Yeah, definitely.
How did that come about? You know.
It was very organic. I didn't even know who he was, and he DM'd me on TikTok of all places and was like, "Oh, would you like to come on my platform?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, sure." I looked him up and I'm like, "Wow, first of all, this guy is like, he's kind of low key. You can't even really find him on YouTube.